We all know that all the pieces, let me repeat. We all know that all the pieces have different value. And we agreed on a value for each of them. We said the queens are worth 9 points, each rook is worth 5, each bishop is 3, knights are also 3, and each pawn is 1 point. We don't really give a value to the king since it's a piece that we cannot really capture. But I do like telling my students to give a value to the checkmate. I always say give any big number you want, maybe 100 points. That will be enough. Just so we know that sometimes we need to decide between capturing a queen or giving checkmate. And checkmate should definitely be the option. The pieces change their values though during the game. And a piece that is not moving at all shouldn't have the value that we give it at the beginning. And if you compare that with pieces that are in a forward position, definitely you should pick the pieces that have more squares available. Now, in the position that we have on the board, it's actually a position from one of my students, where he had a knight on d6. The knight is on an outpost. It is protected by the pawn. It is also well protected by the rook. It's a beautiful, beautiful square for the knight. I actually told my student this is not a knight, that's an elephant. But I was really, really upset when he decided to capture the bishop on c8. Now, after the game, I mentioned this to him. No? What value will you give to the knight? The knight is in an advanced position, is on an outpost, is a well-protected outpost, is controlling so many squares on the black territory, and we actually have a more or less close position. If I were to give a value to the knight, I will say the knight is at least 6 points. And now, let's take a look at the bishop. Let's take a look at the bishop. The bishop is on c8, is blocked. I mean, actually all black pawns are on white squares, which means that the bishop won't have that many available squares to move. It's trapped at the moment. If you want to make the bishop move, you will need to lose a pawn. What value will you give to that bishop? Pick a number. If I have to, I might say 1 point. Maybe less than that, because if the bishop were a pawn, at least he could move forwards and attack the knight. That bishop is really, really bad. Now, if you think about the playing value of this knight of 6 points and a bishop that is worth maybe 1, would you capture that bishop? Is that a good idea? I don't think so. I wouldn't do that. I would look for a way to win. Probably in this case, since everything is closed, we need to look for a way to open up the position. Now that happens a lot when we have closed positions. We need to open up the position, and we do this by offering pawn trades. There are 2 squares where we could trade.